Mr. Big D is here with Mr. Max Jaw. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. I'm doing fantastic, man. we got some developments on the this is still technically the road to WrestleMania, yes? Or is this just right
Well, yeah,
before
I mean,
WrestleMania doorstep?
we haven't gotten there yet. No, it's still the
Yeah.
road.
Okay.
There's still things going on, still things that we don't know yet, still
Well,
things that are yeah.
does it but is it like, okay, so it's a road to WrestleMania, but eventually you're gonna have to pull into your own, like, into your street, into your neighborhood to WrestleMania.
Right.
You're gonna have to
Oh,
either pull up to the curb and you gotta park before WrestleMania, or you have to open the garage and
right.
park inside
Well,
the garage before WrestleMania. Where are we now?
that's that's the time between Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown.
Gotcha.
The SmackDown before Mania.
Gotcha.
That's
And we're
right
parking.
before that, like when you're parked and you unpack,
I'm
and
packed.
then
Yeah, I like it.
SmackDown is the SmackDown is the official start of WrestleMania weekend
Gotcha.
because you got the SmackDown, then you got the Hall of Fame, then you got NXT. Oh wait, NXT is NXT. Who's NXT? And it's NXT Saturday morning, and then Saturday night you got Mania, Sunday Mania, Monday Night Raw after Mania, and then it's back to the road to WrestleMania. 'Cause I don't understand why the road has to be just from January to March. It should be the whole year. It's like
I
any other
mean,
sports.
it technically is, but it's a road to all these. It's a road to WrestleMania. It's a road trip to WrestleMania at that point. But you have to stop at the Grand Canyon and Saudi
Uh,
Arabia.
right.
Yeah. So you know.
Yeah. So, but the road is we are getting closer and closer to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, WrestleMania 40. We still got to find out four more matches. Apparently, they still have four more matches to announce, and we're a week and a half away. They're gonna have seven matches each night. So I mean, there's still a lot of big names that aren't on the show that have to be, you know. So I don't know. There's still a lot of things that we don't know what's going to happen. A lot of things we do know what's going to happen, but for the most part they've set it up okay.
I mean,
So
it's like you're looking at the big picture first. You're looking at
you have
ramen
to,
and
yeah, you have to.
I mean that's been going so fucking great that it's like I'm so glad WWE is finally doing, like, 2 years ago, I would not have thought of this. Like, this would be a pipe dream, basically. And I mean, maybe it's because of The Rock, you know. I don't know, but this is going really well right now.
Well, The Rock was on your he's on your Mount Rushmore.
Uh, well, of course. I'm just saying, like, the Rock has brought something. Like, I feel like The Rock has brought something to Cody Rhodes. Like, I don't know how long it would have taken before Cody's chant started happening, but he, just by being present there, like, the crowd was just super excited. Because, like, if you watch promos without Rock in it, between Cody Rhodes, or Cody Rhodes alone, or Ramen alone, it's not the same. If The Rock is in the ring, everything is elevated. You know, like Cody chants are elevated, boos are elevated, and then you have just to kind of crystallize that from you know Rock's a promo. You know, when he did a concert, which he didn't bring a guitar this time, which is great, featuring some some other talent as well in there, but people were chanting Rock's name, and it is really difficult to go from they were booing him. Granted, it may have been the venue at the time because that was Rock's home, but still, it's really hard to have a heel that they boo in the beginning and then they cheer the shit out of him at the same time. And it's like you're realizing it's like he's just like lifting everyone up. So when he's in the ring, Cody's elevated, Ramen is elevated, everything is elevated. The chants are elevated. Hell, there was even a solo chant. And I think that was probably the only time there was a solo chant was when The Rock was in the ring, you know?
Right.
So The Rock is doing a great job, man. He's elevating everybody, which is really what you would try to do, you know? So,
And it seems to be making its way through the entire roster too. So I know there was rumblings of irritations and people were mad about The Rock being able to be uh, more freely spoken with his words, and
I have an
I know
opinion
there's
about that.
a lot of people that didn't like it or didn't see it, didn't deem it as fair. I guess I don't know. But then Cody's promo happened, and that just yeah, that was one of the Cody's promo on that Monday Night Raw.
Well,
That was,
calling
that was pretty damn good.
The Rock Roman's
I was
bitch
just
and Little Dick syndrome.
yeah, yeah, because it just it was funny at first. Like it was funny because just hearing him say that, and it was just like it was like legit like just trash like smack talk back and forth, but the emotion like you're able to express your your emotions so much better when you're able to use the right words. Because if you're using words that don't really express the real feelings that you're trying to make people believe that you're feeling, it just doesn't work. And I mean, it seems like it's. I mean, right now it's like limited right now to The Rock and Cody. I mean, maybe Rollins, but I think eventually we'll start getting um, just I don't know. I mean, even the most recent one on Friday, LA Knight and AJ Styles. I mean, it got a little bit better with what they did on Friday. Their story, it's still not what I feel it should be, but that's that's a different topic. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. The Rock just seems to be turning a situation to what the situation was, you know, a month and a half ago
Yeah.
to what it is now. I mean, they've already done a great job of like making us forget almost of like what was going on. Like, and I mean, that's good. Like that's smart for them. Um,
Yeah. I mean,
so
like writing a show continuously that long, you're gonna make mistakes. I mean, that's just a part of it. And it's like, what's one big mistake? Well, the what was that? The one group that Mike liked.
yeah,
I don't remember.
retribution.
Retribution. There we go. I don't even remember their name. What's their name? It doesn't matter what their name is. Oh, Mike was like, "Oh, dude, this is gonna be the greatest." I'm not ripping on Mike here. I thought it was it's like you built this and it just doesn't work, and then what happens? All of a sudden, it's gone. And then you had um, the hacker. Remember the hacker?
I'll leave.
And everybody was trying to figure out who it was.
It just ended up being the same fucking thing, pretty much.
Yeah. So those are just more recent examples. They're gonna fuck up, and that seemed like a little bit of a fuck up. Whatever they were expecting to happen when Rock showed up and Cody just left. Like, there's just no way that they weren't expecting that reaction, because just looking at Cody's face when he was leaving was like, whoa, this is brewing some shit between him and The Rock right now. You know, I did not understand that. Like, I could not fathom that that wasn't planned in some way, which probably gives credit to the writing staff. But either way, the crowd booed The Rock for a while there, and The Rock embraced it. Next thing you know, The Rock's doing his little heel concert, and they're cheering him. You know, so this is, it's just an interesting storyline. It's definitely a storyline worthy of WrestleMania. WrestleMania main event twice, 2 nights in a row. You know, although I don't know if it's going to be main event on the first night.
No, it's going
It
to be.
doesn't. It doesn't need to be. It really doesn't need to be.
Uh,
You think it
yeah,
does?
yeah. Yeah,
No.
yeah. You got the Rock, Roman, Cody, Seth. Yeah, that's
It's like
you
the
don't
question:
if you
who's going
don't
to
put that
follow
on
that?
main event. Yeah, nobody is.
Bailey uh
Nobody is.
and Rhea, or well, Bailey's not going after Rhea, is she? She's going
No,
after EO.
Theo.
Uh, well, whatever. I like
I
that
don't
whole
know.
development too. But yeah, the main event. I think so. When Cody came back for WrestleMania and faced Seth Rollins first, that was fucking awesome. And then he went on to have, like, tear his pec, go through that, comes back at Rumble. Bam, you have him at WrestleMania fighting Ramen, and everybody's like, he's bracing his father. He's embraced everything that he was trying to run away from first. And at the same time, through that process, he's become himself. It's just a beautiful story, just in itself, which gives you a fully like fleshed out character. And kudos to Cody for that. He definitely came around and stopped running away from everything. You know, and boom, it's like you have this. I would call that a swerve, where Cody did not win. Everybody thought this was going to be it, and he did not win. And that decision was bittersweet for a lot of fans when it first started, or when it first happened. However, it's always better when the story is going on and it's not completed, because then you do have it's still interesting. There's still something at the end that everybody's looking forward to, and they built that with Cody. So it's gonna get interesting. I There's doubt, and well, this long-winded thing I'm talking about now, that there's still doubt that Cody's gonna win. This is not a situation where you and I would go into a pay-per-view or a PLE and do our predictions and just be like, well, of course he's gonna win, because it doesn't make any, like, where the story is, it's been telegraphed already, and rarely ever did they, especially throughout our podcast, surprise us. They surprised us like maybe once, twice in like 3 years, really surprised us. outside of us just being like, you know what, I know what's gonna happen, but I'm still going with this fucker. Because I wanted to be surprised, you know? But you still knew what was gonna happen. Here, you assume that Cody's gonna win and finish his story, but it's really played up so well that you don't know, which is the best thing you want as far as a fan goes. So, dude, I'm over the moon about this shit. I'm fucking excited. I'm super excited about this. And I watch every promo, everything that happens with the storyline. So, super excited about that match. What do you think? Do you think it's clear who's gonna win or how it's gonna go? Because I mean, you're good at this shit, man. You're like,
Well,
I
no,
stopped doing
no,
fucking punishments
don't
because
be.
it was just me doing them.
I don't know stuff.
It is.
There's like part like I feel like it has to be like if they extended it even more. If Cody doesn't win, I don't know. That's just they they gotta do something. I don't even know. I can't even say like something huge has to happen. I don't know. I don't think there's any other option but him winning Sunday. Saturday, the tag match. Who wins that? I don't know. That's a. I mean, that's and I like that because we don't know what's going to happen Sunday so much because we don't know what's going to happen because we don't know what's going to happen on Saturday night because there's still a freaking if the Rock and Roman win, then it's Bloodline rules on Sunday, and we don't know what that necessarily details. Um,
I think the most dramatic way
so yeah,
would
I
be
mean,
for yeah,
I imagine Roman and The Rock win
yeah.
night one, and that could be for a number of reasons. Like it could be something where um, it doesn't maybe someone that's not the Bloodline gets involved. Maybe it's Drew McIntyre. Maybe he gets involved in cause Seth does something with Seth Rollins, and there's just a lot of things like that could happen. But I would imagine that Rock and Roman win night one, and then because then you have the whole Cody's at Cody's at this disadvantage again, of course. He's coming on Sunday, he's at a disadvantage, and there's always that. There's nothing better than a fucking underdog story. And if you're gonna put him, but then there's also the part of me that just wants a freaking. I just want a regular like just one on one, no interference, match between Cody and Roman. Like I don't want I don't want shenanigans going on. You know, it's just I don't know. It's a big toss up of what we want to see, what's gonna happen. I don't know.
That's the
'Cause it
exciting
doesn't
part.
make it really doesn't right, and like to me, it doesn't make sense for Roman to lose 2 nights in a row, or to have The Rock be at Mania, and the only match that he's going to be in Mania and lose. Like for me as a fan, for me as a booker, that doesn't make sense. It makes sense to have, sure, you could have Cody and Rollins lose because they can come back the next night, win, and that loss from the night before is completely erased from them. I don't think Rollins is going to leave Sunday as champion. At least I don't want him to. I want Drew to win the title. But then again, it's like what I want with all these titles. I can see like almost every single title changing, and that's nothing we've ever seen in WWE either. We've never seen like a full blown because like I can find reasons for Roman to lose. I
Hmm.
can find reasons for Rollins to lose, Rhea to lose, Io to lose, Gunther to lose, uh, Judgment Day to lose their tag titles. Like it's like I could see where all these people lose, like all titles change hands. That would be completely crazy if it happened. But I can see where it does happen, and like that's where you're like given this whole sense of I don't know what's gonna happen, and I like that. So I mean, as far as like prediction, like the predictions, man, like that's like I would say like I mean it's coming up for at least for like the main like the main matches. It's almost like you know predicting the games for March Madness because those are just as predictable as nothing because you never know what's gonna happen. Like there's upsets all the time in March Madness, and yeah, I mean that would be. I feel like Mania is always like if we were to track our predictions for each pay per view or
Hmm.
PLE, I bet you Mania would have the most wrong predictions.
Gotcha.
And like this one, it's like I don't know. Like there's just I mean, like I said, you go down that list, you like Cody beats Reigns, but then you can see like maybe something does happen and then Cody gets screwed again. You know, Rollins and Drew, you could easily see that go either direction. Um, Same thing with Rhea and Becky. I mean, like this is what Mania is supposed to do. Like it's supposed to be these like good matchups where you don't know who's gonna like. And then they got Gunther and Sami Zayn, and all of a sudden they're like building this up to where like Sami Zayn is like again this complete underdog who nobody believes that he's gonna beat Gunther. And I'm like, they're just setting this up for Gunther to lose. I don't want that, but I can see where he does end up losing, and it's like, man, like they can't, everybody can't lose. Like, oh, Logan Paul against Orton and Kevin Owens. Like, do you really see Logan Paul coming out of that as champion? Yes, but at a very much same level, no, he's not gonna. Like, yeah, I don't know. So there's just a bunch of different things going on. Um, so I mean, so they've done a really good job. I think the only one really, in my eyes, that's like 100% certain is Bailey against Io. That's the only championship where I feel like 100% Bailey's gonna
Hmm.
win that.
I wonder if did they swerve there too.
And if I would be really surprised because once they put that belt on Io, it hasn't been a good title reign. Like I mean, she's had a couple of good matches here and there, but they just like they milked her out. Like they just kept her away from all these like legitimate feuds until it was time for Bailey. And so I don't like it's just yeah. But I don't. I would imagine Kabuki Warriors are going to have their tag titles defended because like right now they don't have a match at Mania. I'm assuming in my head that it's going to be in Naomi and Bianca versus the Kabuki Warriors. Um, but that's nothing like because I mean Bianca has to be on Mania and she doesn't have a match right now. So like that's one of the It's one of the people that are going to end up having a match announced at some point between now and Mania. Um, but yeah, man, it's a there's a lot of non guarantees this year. I like that. I like it.
So, are they still damage control with
Yeah,
like
yeah.
so this is like basically Asuka and Io Sky and who else is in it?
Kyrie saying
Yes.
Dakota Kai.
And Dakota Kai.
Yep.
Um I tell you, I'm checking out here because I just read somewhere that there like there might be seven more members, but no, never mind. I like their faction as is right now. You know, I think
I do too.
it's
Asuka
a it,
seems.
they're like
I
the
don't know.
street profits of the is it
Eh,
street profits of the East
the
of
East
the
Street
Orient,
Profits.
the street profits of the Orient. I don't know. I'm desperately trying not to sound racist here. Um, but you know, you have a faction
I,
from Japan.
I like that. I like them as a fag. I don't. It's just to me, Asuka. I don't know. Although this week she was better this week than she was the last couple weeks. I don't know when she gets into that like super silly, uh, like she's a little bit too like she's a little bit too over the top with her silliness. It takes away from what she can do. Like she's a freaking. She should be a force in that ring. Like Asuka is a force. Kyrie Sane, it's like she's really good. Um, and I mean, she's done alright since she's come back. But I mean, I think the lack of competition for them also has been because the women's tag division just isn't. There's nothing there, you know. So and that takes away. And again, the constant just interferences and getting involved and like the whole like they can't stay away from the WWE is just creating more and more factions and most of them are most of them are heels. We don't have too many face factions. Most of them are heels, so that means they're always going to be getting involved and stuff like that. But, um, actually, I thought not this week, but last week, I thought Asuka broke her foot because she did something when they were attacking. I think it was just Bailey. They were attacking, and I don't know, Asuka was off. She was off the screen for a while, and then she came back in the ring, and she could barely put any weight on her right foot. And it just looked horrible. Like you could and they're still going through the motions of what they were doing in the ring. She could just barely run, and like it was just like, man, like I don't know, did she break her foot? Because it was just after the news of Darby Allin broke his foot in his most recent match. We were talking about that, and then all of a sudden I see Asuka just like she did something to her foot, but nothing was bothering her this week, so might have been just twisted in, like a little minor twisted ankle or something.
That
But
that's
I
a
thought
that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I just thought that was like when I first saw it happen. I'm like, shoot, they might not be they might not be able to be at Mania if she broke her foot. But then I just thought about it now when we were talking that she was fine last night. So and she brought back the mist, which she hasn't done in a long time. And she brought back the mist, and she misted Naomi in the face, which I love the mist as long as it's used right, and that's also not overused and done. Um, but yeah, so I would imagine they're going to end up having either a match. I don't know if it's going to be given for the titles or not, but you got you would figure they would want Naomi at Mania since she's like a big return at Rumble. You'd imagine Bianca has to be in Mania somewhere. Um, yeah, so
Yeah,
Jade
because
Cargill debuts next week on SmackDown.
are they like
Um,
I really hope they're not gonna go with like, well, here's a black faction, here is an Asian faction.
no,
Like, come
well,
on, like,
oh, well, no, we already have that with freaking Hurt Business.
well, that's what like Hurt Business, Street Profits, like, we're pushing it, but I mean, it's like
Yeah,
it's fine if everybody has the same, goal, but you're talking like all these you're talking two factions that could easily become like that could easily just be like all black and all Asian against each other and you're like
well, I mean, but
so
there's two sides of the fence to that too. I mean, like that's like that wouldn't. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, like, I mean, I understand. I don't know. Like that.
um
Go look. I mean, look at the like the Attitude Era
yeah
with all the factions. I mean, you had Kai and Tai, which is
yeah
still one of my favorite factions. And
yeah
that was, I mean, they were so good. And then you had, you know, uh, Nation Domination, friggin' um, but anyway, but I mean, I think that stuff like
don't
that.
make
I
it
mean, if you
racist basically. It's like you could
right,
easily look at it and think it's racist and it doesn't
right,
have to be just because it is like that
I
specific.
mean, we've got LWO,
Yes.
and it's not like they're gonna have,
Sami Zayn.
I don't know, right, or like Grayson Waller or I don't know anybody else that's not Mexican join LWO. Because
Bro,
it's very specific. Obviously, it's very specific of Latino World Order. Um,
it is. I
so
realize
yeah,
I realize now that I mean just by saying that it's like my goodness, like our culture has become very interesting, Like I'm definitely influenced by shit that's happening in our culture. And it's kind of uh I think it's probably pretty shitty to the first thing that you look at, which is what I notice now, is, oh, what's the color of their skin? Are they all together? Or like, do they have some sort of
right.
cultural profile? Are they all together? And I was like, wow, man, fuck that. Anybody can be together however they want to be together. I don't give a fuck. And it was just
Oh,
really eye
right.
opening there for a second.
That's also very true. But then at the same time, it's almost more, man. Uh,
Sorry, I did not mean to bring this in. I didn't even realize I would.
no,
We can skip it and
it
just fucking
just.
enjoy the entertainment.
Well, no, because I don't think there's I don't think I mean, there's nothing bad that's coming about it.
Mm.
I mean, it's almost it just works. Like that's the thing. It works. I feel like it's acceptable.
Yeah.
I never see any issues. Um, it would be more like I have more problem of it if like um, say it hurt Bobby Lashley, Street Profits, and say kind of like when Owen Hart joined Nation of Domination. But like if that person like completely changed, now they're like making a mockery of, all of a sudden they're just like acting all hood and whatever. To like that, like the portrayal of that, I would be
Yeah.
more disappointed about that
Yeah.
than because it's kind of like you. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just it,
It's tough because Nation of Domination was badass. You know, LWO is badass. Street Profits are badass. Hurt Business is badass.
they
Like
could
I
be
think
better.
most of.
That's for sure.
Oh, I mean, they can't. But I mean, the Hurt Business with Bobby Lashley in it was freaking badass, and Bobby Lashley leading is not the same. Um,
No,
but
this
I mean,
there
it's
were
still
like
like,
I almost preferred um Shelton Benjamin and what's his name and Bobby Lashley when they were in the Hurt Business than I do with the Hurt Business and Street Profits.
yeah,
Street
Cedric.
Profits just aren't doing it for me. Yeah, Cedric
Ce-
Alexander.
Yeah,
Um, Street Profits just aren't. They're not doing it for me anymore. I don't. They're not doing anything special. Like I still feel Montez needs to be on his own and do a
yeah,
singles thing. And I'm finding that out more. We've been watching the Bianca and Montez. They have a reality show on
yeah,
Hulu. Not a sponsor. Um, and so it's like they're just whatever real life shit from last year before Mania last year. All this was recorded and stuff. And but the stuff with Montez and see, I always forget. Uh, the other street prophet, Dawson. Um, like they really have like a polar opposites like off screen, and like Montez Ford, like he always seems to be like the one that's like trying to push them up both together and like trying to like make these changes and like present themselves differently, um like off screen. I like have their characters like look a certain way, um going to you know the the red carpet of Mania. Like don't show up in sweatpants and kind of like sneakers. Like dress up. Like this is us, man. Like we gotta lift ourselves up and make ourselves look better so that we feel better and we can do better and get better reactions from the fans in our matches and stuff like that. And Dawson, he's just almost like he just does what he needs to do to get by and like be okay. Whereas Montez Ford is like he's like hitting his head on the ceiling that the ceiling isn't even his. It's Dawson's ceiling. Like Montez Ford needs to go up and beyond that. In order to do that, he needs to be on his own. And I remember there was a big thing, a year ago, a year and a half ago, them like splitting, and they just never did it. It's like I really wanted it to happen, and then now seeing like whatever if it's scripted or not, whatever this reality stuff. But seeing it from that perspective, it makes me even feel even more like he's like, yeah, like he's
why
got it in him to.
is he a little more evil? Because that's
There's a little bit more
Montez
what?
Ford evil. Montez Ford always looks a little
Uh,
bit more evil than good.
he
Like he's
can be
got the
though. Like he can be if he has to be. Like that's the thing. Like I feel like he's far more adaptable than Andre Dawkins. Not Dawson. It's Dawkins, right? No, it's not. That's a
yeah. I
football
was trying
player.
to figure out. I'm like, wait a minute.
Is it,
But I was also
is it
updating the
Dawkins?
pictures on our video.
It is Dawkins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Dawkins. Um, but yeah,
This
I
could
just
easily
feel like
be
Montez
the.
like he
Go
has
ahead.
such a
Sorry.
higher ceiling. He has just such a higher ceiling than where he's at. because like it was like he was in the elimination chamber last year on his own, and he did all right in that. Like it was like a good showcase, but then they never did anything with him on his own. And even now, it's like they won last night against Authors of Pain to move on in the tag team tournament on SmackDown. Um, but even then, I'm like, it's just I don't know. They're just not doing it for me. It's like they're one of the best tag teams. And WWE has a ton of tag teams. We really got to figure out what we're going to do with all these tag teams so that they can be showcased more. Right? I don't know. But anyway, um,
Yeah, I mean, what are we seeing? So far the card is WrestleMania 40 match card is you got uh Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. You also have the tag team before the first night.
yeah,
Then you have Io Sky versus Bailey, Rhea versus Becky, Gunther versus Zayn, Logan Paul versus Randy and Kevin. And then you have a six-pack ladder match for the undisputed WWE Tag Team, and then you have Finn Balor, Damian Priest versus like who is this? So they still have to be determined.
yeah, there's still uh, two teams to be determined,
So
or
so
just one.
do you so you there's a chance here for the Hurt Business
Right.
and who else?
They
I
have to
mean,
go up they have to go
s-
up against Legado del Fantasma next week.
so that's gonna be one, two, three, four, five, six tag
Right.
teams.
Right.
So there's gonna be like a medium Royal Rumble tag team ladder match for the. I mean, this sounds pretty exciting.
In a sense,
You
yeah,
could
I'm excited for it because I mean, I just think ladder matches are awesome, anyways. Especially at Mania, like when they used to have the Money in the Bank at Mania, like that was one of the best matches of Mania when they had it. Um, we were supposed to get something similar to this in 2020 as well, when it was the um,
oh, that was terrible.
New Day, and
Uh, um, uh, uh,
Andrade, and
that's right. Yes, Andrade and
yeah,
his
yeah. But
whatever.
it was all Austin. It was ended up being Austin Theory joined them because one of them got hurt. Um, but yeah, no, I'm
Oh, I forget
expecting
his
this.
name.
I'm hoping this is going to be a good match. I hope we're going to get like a surprise. Like
I'm
they should be
expecting.
having a lot of fun. So
Yes, for sure,
because
man.
our truth's in it. So I mean, it's got to be fun. I'm
Well,
really
I
hoping
mean,
we get a
yeah.
moment where like Priest climbs the ladder and where like he's at a camera angle and he reaches up for the belt and you see him grab the belt and he like tries to pull it down but it doesn't budge. And then the camera moves over and there's our truth. He's got his hands on the belt as well. And I don't know who I want to win. I do kind of want the awesome truth to win because then we can start getting into some good tag team action. Like Priest and Finn have they've done a good job, but it's time for solo stuff again. I think for them.
Definitely. This sounds like an exciting match, man. So they're bringing tag teams back.
Yeah,
Um, I was still kind of hoping to see. Gunther go against mini Kurt Angle, you know?
Me too. Me too.
Uh
I was rooting for him during that match against Sammy. Well, number one. My first initial thought was that they were gonna have a hell of a match, and I don't know, something was gonna happen. It was gonna end up being a triple threat. But I was like, well, wait, no, there's already a triple threat going on. So,
well, I mean Chad Gable is
he's
for some
transforming, man.
he looks fantastic. Like Gunther brings it out of him. It's like a
Yeah,
David and Goliath, and like don't call him David. Do you know what I mean?
right, right, yeah, yeah. He's getting like this whole like attitude, and I'm expecting him to turn on
Otis.
Sammy at some point. Like I don't even know what's going on with Ultimate Academy. I feel like that's just being slowly buried. I don't know what's gonna end up happening to Otis.
I like Alpha
Not that he's
Academy.
like I do too, but I don't. But I just think there's something transforming with Gable and his like singles push. It's kind of transforming his character a bit. Where yeah, like I see him like turning on Alpha Academy, and like that'll be like a complete separation from them. And now he's like strictly on his own, but he's not going to be a face anymore. He can be more serious and not the goofy bad guys, but be a serious bad guy. Um, and that would kind of replace maybe a bad guy like Gunther if Gunther isn't in that say so-called division
It
anymore,
just
and
speaks
he's like
more
a
to
fish.
Gunther though.
Right. Well, I mean, Gunther, man, I don't know what's going to happen with him. Like, I, I'm really firmly opinionated that I don't want him to lose the belt. I would much rather him uh, vacate it than have him lose. I still don't feel anybody is worthy enough to beat him. And that's how and then I will have that opinion until that happens, of course. But
I mean, would you say that Gunther versus Sami Zayn is already kind of decided?
mm, I don't know.
Do you think that
No,
Sami Zayn would?
I, I can't do that. I can't.
Okay, even there's some doubt.
Yeah, of course. Well, like I said, I mean,
But
there's ways I can see Sammy winning, and ways that I see Gunther winning. I just want Gunther to win. I don't want him. I feel like he doesn't deserve to. I don't know. He just doesn't deserve to lose that title. Win it, give it up on Monday. Have Sami Zayn and Gable battle for the title. A vacated title, Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable. Winner gets the title.
what does
Like,
Gunther go
like
for?
Gunther says no one's worthy, and I'm gonna go after the title, the heavyweight title,
So after Rollins?
or whoever. He could. I feel like he could. I feel like he could go like right now. Gunther is in a position where he could really like kick the shit out of um, the rest of the guys in Imperium. and go on his own, and if people will root for Gunther to win. He could be a face against Drew McIntyre. We've seen Drew and Gunther before, but Drew was a face. Now we can see Gunther and Drew, and Gunther's the face.
I mean,
This time
that's a
around, this
whole
time
other
around,
topic.
well, right, this time around, Drew's champion because he beat Seth. Gunther's not the champion. You could still have the same outcome of Gunther end up beating Drew, and now he becomes champion, and now another long reign as champion because Gunther has, and you could think I give credit to the Miz when he feuded with Gunther, that Gunther's far more better on the mic now. He doesn't need uh, Ludwig to speak for him anymore. Like he does all his promos himself. He talks on his own. He doesn't need anybody. He doesn't need them down there during his matches. Which one thing he's always done is, especially for a championship match, he comes down on his own and he finishes the match on his own. Um, but I can see I think Gunther's in a position now where people will root for him and treat him as a face. So I feel like that could be a turn that happens.
I'll be a Goldberg treatment, because Gunther just annihilates everybody.
Yeah, exactly. But then it's like we got to think about like, well, you expect Drew to be champion when Punk comes back because then you got Drew and Punk. And there's still a whole crap load of like storylines that they can do, which is always good, which is always a good thing. Um, but yeah, but as far as Gunther losing, I'd much rather him just vacate it because it was like almost like what happened in NXT. I mean, he ended up losing, but that match against um, what's his name?
What?
Trying to think of the NXT champion. Um,
It doesn't matter who the NXT champion is, because nobody can fucking remember it.
yeah, no, it's the Russian guy.
I haven't been watching NXT, so I'll tell you in a second.
He's the one that beat Walter in the freaking crazy match in NXT.
Oh, Ilya Dragunov.
Yeah, yeah, Ilya Dragunov.
Yeah,
Um, but
Ilya Dragunov. So
but
you
but like
think that
but
that would be a
I just
cool? I mean,
rather
that would be a cool WrestleMania match. But
what?
I remember, remember our reaction. Well, my reaction, I think you might have agreed, but my reaction with that whole match of Ilya Dragunov and Walter,
Um,
that was great, man. That was like you're trying to portray something real in a sense. Not that wrestling is not real, but you're trying to portray an emotion that's sincere. And what else is sincere than actually really hitting each other? It doesn't get and then once again Walter does great in this, when he matches up with these little Davids, David and Goliath, and Walter's always the Goliath, and there's like this aspect of Walter that's very much like, listen, I am fucking mean, I enjoy it, and there's also still like a little aspect of just there's like I don't know exactly how to put it outside of regalness. Like he carries himself a champion. You know what I
yep,
mean? Like Walter is like just a smirk on his face, on his profile tells you everything. He's like, "Hey man, I'm gonna beat your ass. I'm a bad motherfucker." And at the same time, he's like smirking. He's like, "I'm the champ," and like he carries himself with the uh, uh, um. God, I can't think of a right word. Ah, there's like a good aspect to it, if you know what I mean. He's not just like
yes.
He's not yelling. He's got dimension, basically. Let's put it that way. He's got dimension, just in the way he appears, the way he carries himself, and he's not just this one-dimensional yelling evil guy. You
Right.
know?
Right.
Yeah. Confidence. Confidence. There we go. Confidence is the right word. Almost. I don't fucking know, but him. But imagine that match. Walter versus Dragunov in same thing
I mean, I
at
imagine, I would
WrestleMania.
imagine we get to see that at some point in the future.
And this time it'd be Gunther, not Walter. Do you remember
Right.
how pissed I was about his name change? Because Walter
Everybody
just
was.
sounded somebody you didn't want to fuck with in jail. You know what I mean? Like that's Walter. Because if you're Gunther, like you already know, like Gunther is part of a certain group of people, and you just don't want to fuck with that certain group of people. But to hear Walter, Walter's a little more sinister because Walter, in a sense, is a little more like this could be a very nice guy, but you look how he looks and you give him a name Walter, then it's like, oh shit, it's like almost like a Bubba or something, like
Right. Right.
so. But I so Drew McIntyre fucking went off after like CM Punk was probably the best thing that could have happened for Drew McIntyre out of all people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Drew he went
I
nuts, man. Loved it.
and I really hope that this like push that he's on. I really hope that this means like he's sticking around because we still don't like his contract is supposed to be up this year,
He's a good shit talker, bro.
so we don't even know like the status of that. But I'm hoping that like this push, and I'm hoping that he wins it not only because I want him to, because I think this is the best version of Drew that we've had for a long time. I hope that also like solidifies like okay he's gonna be with us. He's gonna be in WWE for a while longer. Kind of like the same thing they did with like Owens and Sami Zayn when that was going on with their contract. But yeah, him and Punk, like no one was expecting him and Punk
Yeah.
to be something. And it's like
Tremendous.
it makes sense. Like they do have a history together. Um, and it's like because
Tremendous.
I mean, there's a lot of history between a lot of people that we forget about, and it's like it's just cool. Um, but I think at the same time, CM Punk's injury has helped Drew out a lot as well,
Yeah.
and even Seth's injury or whatever. Seth just needs time off. Get Seth off TV. I mean, that's the actually just to be honest, I would be okay with every single title changing hands because there's a lot of places that there just needs to be something different. There needs to be something different, different storylines, different feuds, different. It's time for a change, and I think that I mean there's just so many. They still have so many possibilities of feuds and stuff that they haven't even really done or even really finished because they do have a lot of feuds that they start. They never really like finish completely. So I don't know, it's just a lot. There's a lot coming ahead. So
It's
whew,
exciting, man.
it is. It is. I like getting excited and there's always surprises. So let's get some surprises. Okay. Let's get like Cody's getting ready to win, and there there is no bloodline rules. Cody and Rollins were victorious in night one. Then we get Cody versus Reigns, and Cody's about to win, and then freaking MJF shows up and costs Cody the bit. Bam. The talk of the wrestling world is MJF was debuted in WWE. He's now in WWE, and he cost Cody the championship. He cost him the story. That would be
Well,
something to do.
he's on contract, right? He's under contract, so that's not going to be
I
happening.
don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of there's no confirmation on that either. Who knows? But anyways, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just saying.
I
But
think it's starting to
there's a
show.
lot.
Tony Khan's got it's starting to show that this is not going to work the way it is. So,
That's a whole other different story.
oh, oh,
God, all
yeah.
the I don't, that's a yeah. We can't
Hey,
get into
man,
that tonight.
we called it though. We called it. We won't get into it. We called it that Dave Meltzer was like. Remember, we had a talk about uh like dictators, how they end up with people around him that are yes men, that ultimately what happens, you don't get that information, you don't get the truth anymore from your yes men because they're afraid. I think that, yeah, we talked about Dave Meltzer potentially being hyping up uh AEW to the point of making whatever Tony Khan feel like he's doing a great job. And now he's in that like, oh, you're doing great. He thinks he's doing great. Everything is going great, but it's not. But anyway, back to our podcast.
Yeah, that'll be a whole because whenever we get into that, it ends up
Oh,
being 2 hours later, and we're
because we
still
want it
just
to work.
no,
We're not rooting against Tony Khan.
but it's hard not.
No,
He definitely makes it hard for us.
he does. Yeah,
But
we're not voting against him. We just what he's doing is like somebody needs to, and I think those seats, the video we talked about the seats being the arena being half empty or half full. Let's go that way. Was not a good sign. And if you don't think that that's not a good sign, then you're living in some sort of different reality, you know. But that's neither here nor there right now. How about the our boy L.A. Knight and AJ Styles?
I like the Friday. I like the home and
You
the
like the
interaction
home
that it could.
invasion?
I did. I'm not. Those are always fun to me.
You like this attitude home invasion? He was I know what you're trying to say, but the way it sounds like those are always fun for me. He's
It
like,
wasn't
I
really a
love
home. It
people.
really wasn't a home invasion. It was just,
It was
he
a
showed
it
up
was
at his
in
house.
front of the home invasion.
He, he took the matter in his own hands. He's been like waiting for AJ Styles to show up, on SmackDown, and I liked the whole like storyline outside of TV of them doing something.
Mhm.
I mean, it made it just I don't know. It kind of made it more personal. It was like they kind of gave it some sort of connect. It still came out of nowhere, really. It was just like, oh, we got to do something with these two, and cause like it didn't make sense when they were all fighting each other at the Rumble against Roman Reigns, and like Styles just came back out of nowhere, and but this kind of like that's what I'm like. They're building it up. Like, they're doing their best that they can do to build this up to like make it the best of this feud can be. Get it as personal as possible. Um, get the emotion out of both. Both of them are just hate each other, and it's also really cool that they're both old TNA guys, um, which is cool because we've seen them go at it in other uh, places in wrestling history.
Yeah.
Um, so whatever. I mean, it's not. We'll see what ends up happening. It might end up being one of the least amount of toilet papers,
It's
but
not as
we'll see.
exciting. It's
We'll
the
see.
this
No,
this
it's not. That's what they're like really forcing it to like just like have some sort of substantial substantialism to it.
AJ
But
style
there's no.
kills
I
me,
mean,
man.
nothing. Nothing's coming out of it though. Like it's just gonna be a fight, and that's a. I mean, yeah. It's no different
Well,
than
it's
what we
the
would get with like Sheamus and Drew.
well, they're doing a Stone Cold thing with LA Knight. You know, the Brian Pillman thing. They're going in the house. Luckily, there's no guns, but I'm least excited. I love LA Knight. I am not the biggest fan of AJ Styles. And this isn't like I think I like AJ Styles as a person way better than I like AJ Styles as a wrestler. I mean, so that segment, uh, AJ Styles, well, he was doing an interview or something, right? And then all of a sudden, there's somebody's ringing
The
somebody's
honk and the
honking and
horn.
shit. Yeah, and just the way he acted that, the way he said the lines was really just like he's not the best at it, you know? And that really takes me out. And it's like I understand I'm critiquing world-class professionals. I can The only thing I do have for me is that bullshit thing, the bullshit detector. And when I detect bullshit in acting, I have this may just be my own particular issue, bias here, and I understand that. Uh when he said what the I was like, "Oh my God, I'm out." Like AJ Styles is too nice. I don't know. He strikes me as a very nice guy,
Well, he
you
needs a
know?
haircut. His hair really bothers me.
That whole
It might
fight,
sound
bro.
stupid. It might sound stupid, but just give him
What
some
there we
shorter hair, and I could take him a little bit more serious.
Yeah. It comes from a man that's well endowed with hair, right?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. I think I just I can't
Well,
take AJ Styles sincerely. I have a problem with it. And that's what really throws
it's,
everything else off for me.
it's funny though, with AJ, but with like the OC, the
Yeah.
OC, I almost take them more seriously when AJ's not with them. Like they had a match. They had a match against who they just have a match with? The Legato? No.
See, it's not
Oh, they
that
just had a
important.
match with. No, and it wasn't. But they were. It was like actually a good match. And it was like refreshing to see them have a good match. But anyway, it's just like I don't know, just taking them seriously as a tag team was nice to see. Um, yeah, and AJ's not with them anymore. So.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, AJ LA Knight is just I'm okay with or without it, whatever. It'll be whatever it's gonna be. Um,
Man,
I
it's
mean, we
unfortunate.
we know that they're gonna we know that they always stack Mania. Everyone's always there, except for the people that aren't on the matches. It usually makes sense, but it's like names like AJ Styles and LA Knight. They should be at Mania, so let's get them in there. We haven't really had them one on one yet, so now we do.
Huh?
I mean, you can go to the bathroom when that comes on.
What do I feel like? What? Say, repeat that.
I was saying you can go to the bathroom when they come on. That could be your
That could be my
that could be
bathroom break.
yeah yeah yeah.
But I
But
really like LA Knight, and I think he's being put in some. Here's the thing. I am not like this is
it's fine.
definitely I'm in the minority here, which is fine. I may be a minority of one here. That's great. Whatever. I like LA Knight. And when I see this shit, if it's with AJ Styles, AJ Styles, I don't mix with AJ Styles. I don't do AJ Style thing. I'm not an AJ Styles fan. So that's just what it is. And what they're doing now, it's like I can't buy like when Stone Cold showed up to Brian Pillman's house, there was a threat of a gun. Okay? He's like, "Where's my fucking gun?" Or he has a gun. It's like, okay, that's a little different than LA Knight just honking in front of his house and then they get into a wrestling match. And police comes over and like separates these two guys that are like that LA Knight is not really punching. I mean, he might be laying him in, but that's just like if that's the case, then they should call the police for every wrestling match. It just doesn't fit with me. And I'm sitting there going like, yeah, this is my bathroom break, and whoever else feels the same way, that's your bathroom break too. But I think LA Knight, I think this is more like LA Knight needs to be at WrestleMania. AJ Styles needs to be at WrestleMania. We need to make sure we keep up their names at a certain level, at a certain level of prominence. So that's all it is. And considering how matches I'm excited about, hey, all right, whatever. But LA Knight, I think LA Knight would do great against The Rock. That would really push him. But, that's for much
That,
further.
that's the Rock. That's going to be more on the Rock's opinion about that.
It's going to be Rock Austin.
Is it going to garner his for him to put set aside time to work with him? I don't know.
I
I
mean,
don't
if
see
if The Rock really wants to come in and put people over, I don't know if The Rock is at
it.
that age where he could just be doing this shit willy-nilly all the time. So,
I mean, no, I think this is all just meant to put him over, and he just not he met a match at the he met a force at the wrong time. He met a
yeah.
force he couldn't beat, which was Cody. I really don't see him work. But like I mentioned to you when we were talking outside of this, of we're gonna need some sort of break at some point between Rock and Roman, or maybe not, I don't know. Like I just can't see every single week or whatever just be done. So,
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna have to
but
change, of course.
that might just be the way that it goes. But whatever.
Well, the
But yeah,
last thing I
Mania's
sorry,
yeah.
go ahead.
No, you go.
Well, I was gonna say the last thing I wanna uh talk about here is brother this brother on brother violence, Jay versus Jimmy Uso. How do you feel about this, man?
Well, the this also needed to happen. I feel like they could have maybe started it a little sooner, maybe to like build it up a little bit. I mean, but then again, doesn't need that much building because they've been building it for a long time now, since last year. Um,
Nothing.
like I don't know. It's
It's a
just
little off.
again like
It's in the background. It
yeah,
feels like it's in the
but
background.
I think it can easily like step up. We haven't seen Jimmy wrestle in a long time, but we've been waiting for Jay versus Jimmy, and it's just like one of those things where I feel like if they could have started the feud, they should have started a little bit heavier during the Rumble. I mean, yeah, they started out 1 and 2, and they really didn't touch each other after that. Like once people came in, they really kept them away from each other. I think they could have done a little bit more after that, early, just a little bit earlier, a couple weeks earlier, because they are on different shows. So you don't necessarily need to have them on every show every week. So start a little bit earlier so you don't have to have interactions every single week, every single Raw and SmackDown. Where they started the feud, now it's like now we're seeing them on each show every week, and it's just like they're kind of like just speeding it up, like they're it's almost like they're trying to catch up to get it to a point where so they're just rushing to get to this, you know, plateau, this the peak of feud, and but the thing is, there's always more than just them involved, and it's hard to really have a peak feud between a one and one person when there's always more than just one person.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, and that's Solo. Solo's always there with Jimmy, and like even at the end of SmackDown when you had Roman and Cody, and then Roman snaps his fingers, and then here comes Solo, here comes Jimmy, and then Cody's got Rollins, and then Jay, and it's like you're really from the view of this. If I'm just tuning in, I'm expecting to see Roman, Jimmy, Solo versus Cody, Jay, and Seth. Like that's what the end of SmackDown looked and felt to me of that instead of Cody versus Roman, Jimmy versus Jay. You from what Seth versus Solo is that what's happening? No, it's Seth versus Drew. So it's just like, I don't know, but
Yeah.
I mean,
It's underwhelming
still got a week
considering
and a
what it could
half,
be.
and exactly, and that could also be the fault of the two main events each night involving the same people.
Yes. Well,
Because I mean,
you
I mean that's just such monumental storyline, and there are so many people involved in that. It branches out through everything. Like with Rollins being involved, that makes like Drew McIntyre commenting on Rollins. It's like they're all connected. They're all the bloodline has now reached through so many different people. It's just like, but I don't know. That's still gonna be. I'm still excited and looking forward to Mania weekend. NXT, not so much. I haven't really been watching NXT, and from what I've been hearing is that they're really falling flat on storylines coming up to their pretty much their WrestleMania.
Okay.
Um, so I'll still watch it. I just still got I got to catch up on things. There's a lot of things going on there that just I'm not invested in right now as far as NXT goes. But
Well, I mean, we've talked about this many times, but wrestling, there is a lot of wrestling available. There's a lot of wrestling talent out there. There's a lot of wrestling just happening, and that's not including all the streaming services. That's not including work. People work. That's not including family. People hanging out with family. It's there's just wholeheartedly way too much to consume to the point where you kind of have to choose. It's like this angle is great. I'll watch it. Some people really love NXT. Some people really love AEW. And we're talking some of our jabronis. They really love AEW, and they'll watch that and they'll follow it. And this is all fantastic. But man, it's like we consume wrestling at this point much more based off of specific feuds and specific storylines than anything else. And it's like it not only do you have to create a good story, but you also have to figure out a best way to bring it forward to get people's attention. And that's increasingly becoming tougher. And if you have The Rock on one hand, people are going to watch that. Meanwhile, we really need to be in a place where we are creating another Rock, or we're creating other Rocks and other stars that are that popular that you definitely want to see those segments and those interviews and promos and shit. So that's my excuse for that.
is there anything else that you want to add to anything?
No, no, that's the bottom line. And that's the bottom line. Because
Fuck.
Max Josh, yeah,
Yes.
that's our week in review.
Excitement coming up very fast. WrestleMania will be here in no time. Some long nights back to back. But hey, so we do that for. So we do it for. It's almost our anniversary. 4
Yeah, we
years
started on
almost.
WrestleMania.
Yeah, we our four-year anniversary coming up.
Jesus, who's gonna pop the question?
I don't even know what this anniversary is. Is it silver? I don't know. But anyway,
This is the anniversary. This is when this is about the time when the relationships start to where the sex is not that fun, when things are go from a heat to a simmer. The good thing
I
is
thought I thought we've been past that. All right, I'm sorry.
The good thing is we never went there. We started at a simmer. So you can only turn up the flames, man. Woo! I think that's what part of jabronis is. Or a jobbers being a jobbroni is is enhancement talent, man. We're the fluffer of the wrestling industry. You're like, speak for yourself, asshole. Uh, it's nice when I crack jokes and say shit, and Big D just sits there and doesn't say a damn thing. Just lets me. Big D lets me die on my hills a lot. He just sits there. He's like, yeah, this one's gonna be miserable. Just watch him. Just watch him die. Saturday, April 6th, Sunday, April 7th. WrestleMania, baby. They started that one time, 2-night WrestleMania. And now there's no such thing as a one-night WrestleMania anymore.
No, never will be.
Oh. And we're going to watch both nights. And this year I'm getting drunk for WrestleMania. So we're just going to have to figure out well, see the thing with drinking games for me is a problem because I don't really drink. I rarely ever
Right.
do I drink. When I do, it's light beer. But the problem is, with drinking games, you have to wait for something to happen or something to be said. I don't have the patience to wait for something to be fucking said. So I'll drink and then I'll drink when something's being said and I'm bound to really get in trouble. So I'll just drink. I'll just drink. It'll be more fun. Or maybe an edible.
It'll be
Maybe an
worth.
edible will be better.
It'll be worth it when you don't even remember seeing LA Knight versus AJ Styles.
Yeah, because I was puking in the bathroom. I mean, I could have been puking in the front, but it wasn't from drinking. It was from the feud. Dude, I hate to even talk shit about AJ Styles because he just strikes me such a nice dude, man. Like I watched some of his podcast stuff with video games and stuff. He just like I see. It seems like I would get along with AJ Styles. Just like we would have so much fun, just eating salsa, shopping for games, playing games. You know, like he just seems like a really really nice guy. Well, I don't buy him sometimes his acting and it really throws me off. But I want to like him. I want to like AJ Styles. That's just what it is.
Well,
So I said my
I guess
piece.
you just gotta put the effort in on your side.
No,
Okay.
I can't. It's just if I can't buy it, I mean I guess I can.
Then you don't really
Whatever.
want to.
I guess AJ Styles.
You
Let's
just
go play some
gotta,
games. I
eat
apologize.
salsa. Let's eat salsa.
We gotta eat salsa, that's right.
Here's a
But no chips. We
here's a
just gotta eat
spoon.
salsa
Here's a
with fucking
spoon. Just eat some
spoon.
salsa.
Oh, dude, that's hilarious. Can you imagine that shit? He's just like so one of my best friends and I used to watch WrestleMania. Like we'd order pay-per-views, in high school and shit, and then we'd get cheap sodas and we'd get chips and salsa. And so we would just keep eating chips and salsa and drinking fucking cheap sodas until that's probably what caused some of our health issues, it's just the amount of sugar we consumed was fucking immense. But can you imagine, just like imagine this shot, it's like somebody's filming these two, like Max Jaw and AJ Styles are sitting down. They're playing games, right? Hanging out in AJ's basement, playing games. And just as you zoom out, like you see Mag Shaw just reach in with a spoon and just pick up fucking salsa and put in his mouth. What the fuck? That would be fucking fantastic. That would be fantastic. I'll eat spoon. I'll eat salsa with a spoon with AJ Styles while we play. I'll eat the whole thing. There we go. That's your challenge, AJ Styles. Oh, do you have anything else, sir?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, in that case, 1 hour 30 minutes on the nose. This has been the Jobbers. I guess this is some sort of a week in review. I'm Max Jaw. On the other side is Mr. Big D. And
That's me.
check us out at jawbers.com. That is JAWBERS.com or thejobbers.com and get yourself a t shirt. We should definitely start selling more shit. Clothe yourself. That's what we're selling. We're selling stuff so you don't have to show your nipples all the time. It's great. But this has been the Jobbers, JAWBERS.com.
Love you. Bye.